today I'm continuing to work on my Glimmerbrook save file. This is part 4 of the build series, and this is located on the same lot that my fortune teller shop is on, so you could see it right to the left. This lot will have 3 different lots on it. So today it is a funeral director's home and church. So this is kind of a place where your Sims can hold funerals, and there is a funeral director who lives there who does all the flower arranging and arrangement stuff. And I originally got the idea to have someone living in this area from just Mela on Instagram. She had posted a graveyard keeper's house that was part of a graveyard that she made. And so I had seen that after I built the shell of this. So I was like, oh, that's like a really good idea. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll do like a gravekeeper in the tower. And then it changed into a mortician, and then it changed into a funeral director. So I went through like many phases of what I wanted the story to be, but I kind of decided on a vampire funeral director who is sort of helping Sims in the grieving process. And she does like all the flower arrangements in the basement, which was originally going to be a morgue. And then I was like, I don't really want to build a morgue. And then I was like, all right, what can I do with this basement that I made? And I kind of figured flower arranging would be a cute little thing to put in the basement. And so she makes like all the custom orders for the funerals. And I'm in my head, she gets the flowers from Starla, who is another Sim in the save file who owns the library, and she has her own greenhouse and she grows a bunch of different plants in it. So in my head, she gets them locally from her. And I had a reference picture for this build, by the way. It's pretty much all like built completely, but I'm gonna pull that up so you could kind of see what I was going for. And I think it looks pretty accurate to what the reference picture was, so I'm gonna pull that up now. Okay, so here's the picture, and as always, you can find a link in my description that leads to the Pinterest post if you want to see it bigger and if you want to use the reference picture in any way. But yeah, this is what I decided to go with. It is slightly different, but I did really like the shape. And at first, I felt like it was a little bit too plain. And I was nervous because anytime I think a build is too plain, I think I need to demolish it. And it's always like really far into the build, and if this was on its own lot, I probably would have demolished it and restart it to something else, but then I kind of went back to the reference picture. I'm like, no, that's like exactly what I was going for, so I think it's okay. Sometimes I just like I throw myself off and I'm like, oh, this is like way too like square and blocky and there's not a lot of details, but I do add a little bit more details. I changed some stuff with the roof, and oh yeah, that reminds me that in this video the lighting will change like 3 different times probably for the exterior. So I started in this and then I thought it might be a little bit too bright and so the next time I was doing it, I like did it in like very cloudy weather and I thought that was too dark. And I think it's only 2 different lightings, and then I go into the interior anyway, but that'll get there eventually. But yeah, this front part is going to be the little graveyard. I liked the idea of having it kind of like in between the 2 houses that I knew I was gonna build. I didn't think that a sim was going to live in this church until like after this, so I really wasn't planning on having another sim here, but I liked the idea of her being a vampire. And so this is a world with I guess spellcasters, sims, and 1 vampire, because I only have 2 more houses left and they're going to be relatives of each other, and they're like the main reason why I was building the save file, because they were sims that I was like coming up with to like play on my own. And then I was like, okay, I'll turn that into the save file because I'm really excited about it and I want like all these layers. So I'm hoping that by the time I finish this, I'll still want to do gameplay, because at this point, If this was done today, I just wouldn't do gameplay because I'm not feeling it. So hopefully in like a month, I'll want to do gameplay. I have this other build that's going to be on this lot done. It is almost completely edited. Both of these videos are a little bit shorter than most of my most recent videos, and I think I'm going to double post this week. So this is going up Monday. The professor's house that is next to this might go up on Thursday. It depends on if I'm finishing building the other house that I'm working on for next Monday. So we'll see. Right now, I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to be posting twice this week, and so this lot will be completely done and like not available for download yet because I get paranoid and I'm afraid to upload to the gallery if I don't think it's perfect. And because it's a save file, I want it to be like perfect and I want no changes to be made. And then like I don't want to upload to the gallery and then have to change things. And then I'm like, but that version's on the gallery. And it's like it doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, see the light changes. I guess it's not too bad. Yeah, it doesn't stay like this for too long. I really just add some more little details. I decide that I need a roof piece over there to kind of split up that peak a little bit, and I really like how that turned out. I feel like it lined up really perfectly with the stained glass window that is over there, and I just do a little like bump on the side of the build because I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, and so it wasn't just two squares, and so now it's 2.5 squares pretty much. Yeah, I think that this is pretty much the end of the exterior. See, now it's back to the lighting. Oh yeah, I changed the lighting again because I thought it was too dark. And all I'm really adding are these little like stone columns to bring in a little bit more detail. So I have some wooden columns and then I have these ones that I think add just enough detail to make it a little bit more interesting for the build. I feel like it goes nicely with all of the other items. I feel like that might be Discover University. Yeah, I had to like really look and see. It's hard to see sometimes with like reshade on or G shade on. Um, what else was there about this exterior? Oh yeah, I had to move some of the plants because for some reason like the layered plants with the purple flowers outside were in the way and you can't use the stairs, so I had to move them, which I thought was odd. So this I'm gonna have to remember in the future because I would not have expected that that would block the stairway. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the colors on the exterior. I used mostly just grays because it's just like a stone chapel type thing, and then I use like wooden columns around, purple flowers with all of the like green bushes and stuff. That's pretty much all I did for the exterior. It's very similar for the interior. I did a lot of grays, so here is once again a gray wood. It just felt right. I didn't really do much with the walls and flooring. I did the same thing throughout the whole build, which saves me a lot of time. So I used the Realm of Magic stone floor throughout, and then I use these get together stone walls, and that's pretty much it for the walls and flooring. And so up here, this is the second floor or first floor, depending. And this is the office of the funeral director. So this is kind of where they would have their like consultations, I guess you would call them. And I do like little like display areas for options. Like there's a um an area where you can like pick out different urns. There's an area for floral wreaths and stuff. There's like flowers around the place and stuff. There's not This is a very small build, so there's not a lot in it. Um, it took me a lot a long time to do though. Especially the basement. I think the basement is where I put most of my effort in because I wanted it to be filled with flowers. And I really like how it ended up coming out. Like, when I looked back on it, I was really happy with kind of the look that I was going for was kind of achieved. And so, yeah, this is a little area with all of the different urns. It's not every urn in the game, and some of them aren't actually functional urns, but they're labeled as urns. And so I put them over there. And I liked these pale purple curtains. And so I was like really going with the purple theme. I started my witchy cabin that's also part of this save file. And I'm doing a lot of purple in that too. I don't normally build as a lot of purple, but I guess those flowers on the exterior really just inspired me to use it a lot more. But yeah, I just like put little bits of clutter around. There's like the clothing rack up here in the tower is going to be where the director lives. And since she's a vampire, she doesn't really need a lot of stuff. Um, so I just have like a little space for her to read. I gave her an easel too, because in my head, I thought maybe she does portraits as well. And that's like another aspect of her job. And just a coffin because she could sleep in the coffin. And I think that in The Sims, if vampires sleep in a coffin, they regen their powers faster, is what I feel like I remember. But yeah, I really like this upstairs too. I like the wall of bookcases that kind of go into that console table. I feel like it flows really nicely. It looks like a custom built piece. But yeah, now I'm adding flowers around the place and like all different colored flowers. I kind of just pulled out what I felt was right. And I guess it was a lot of like yellows and stuff to match the stained glass window. That's a really beautiful stained glass window. I don't think I've ever really paid that close attention to the stained glass. We don't have a lot of really good stained glass in the game, but I feel like that swatch is really, really nice. And this is the basement. I have a bathroom down here because I realized that I couldn't fit a shower or a tub anywhere else. So I guess if she needs to shower, she comes down here. There is a toilet on the main floor. So she doesn't have to come all the way down if she has to use the bathroom. She just has to go down. I guess a ladder and stairs to get to the main part if she's in her room. But yeah, this little I was trying to use tool to rotate this wreath because I was thinking about Marcy Lacelle, who's another simmer, and she has a wreath business. And in my head, I wanted this vampire to make wreaths. And I was trying to like prop it up, but because I wanted it angled like 45 degrees, but you can't do that with um this wreath for some reason. Oh yeah, this is the part that took me the longest, and I think why this build took me so long. I had this idea that I wanted these individual flowers covering like every single surface. I did not do all of it because that would have been ridiculous. It would have taken me too long. And my attention and patience just would not allow that. So instead, I went with placing flowers in these buckets, and that's about it. So I fill them up. I use the death flowers here too, and they're like the flowers with a little skull on them. And those ones are the ones that if you have it in your Sims inventory, and if they die, you like are not dead because the Grim Reaper is like, oh yeah, thanks, like you could live. And so I have it that this vampire grows these death flowers and possibly also has a side business of like selling these death flowers to people. And that was like, I don't know. I just came up with that part because I'd seen them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have her grow these, I guess. They're not actually planted though because I didn't get around to doing that. So I need to see if that'll even work out. I haven't really used the death flowers in the game that much. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll see. I didn't make the sim. You'll have seen her already in the intro. I haven't made the intro yet. I think I named her Gardenia because it was a flower name and it felt like it was a cute name for her. Like, I liked that name. I was originally gonna name her Rose, and I was, like, searching through flower names. I'm like, "Gardenia is cute." I think that she's a gardenia, so, that's probably going to be her name, and I'm gonna try and decide, like, what her relationships are gonna be with those around. I think that she'll be good friends with Starla because that is the sim who I feel like she gets most of her flowers from. And I'm going to guess that she's, like, good friends with the neighbors too. I feel like Flo Speck, who's the fortune teller, I feel like she would be the type of sim who would just socialize with all of her neighbors, so I feel like they'd have a really good relationship, and the professor is gonna live next door. I feel like he just moved in, so he's getting to know everybody a little bit. Maybe people are a little too over familiar because they're like, "Oh, hey, you're a friend now." And he's like, "I just moved here." But I really like that house too. As if it's out on Thursday, then you'll see it then. But I have like books everywhere. Like the kitchen table is covered in books, the dining room table is covered in books. Cause in my head, he's like studying and learning about the like plants in the world. I guess there's a huge theme of people loving the plants in Glimmerbrook. I don't know how that happened because Starla has a whole greenhouse. This sim loves like flower arranging. She has like all the flowers down here. The professor is researching all these plants. I don't know. Maybe the spellcaster's powers can be linked to the plants somehow in my made up storyline in Glimmerbrook. That actually wouldn't be real because there's no way to actually do that in The Sims. And this little area is kind of, I guess, where they would hold the funerals. So there's some benches and stuff. Place some flowers around and some candles. I had to delete the back two benches because they block the bathroom, and so there's only room for 2. I think that there is also a mod where you can hold funerals in the game. I think it's a mod, right? Or is that added into the game now? It was one of those. But if you're on PC and if it is a mod, maybe I'll check it out and see how it works because I don't actually know what items would be needed for that. But that would be cool. Oh yeah, that's the end of the video, I guess. I forgot how just little this build is. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll probably upload Thursday. So yeah, thank you. Bye.